Back from a great trip to Indiana, meeting a good friend of mine, Mickey Ashpole. Somebody who's really dedicated his life now to helping other people find their path to recovery, the path that he found. This is Mickey Ashpole's story.
My addiction started when I was 16, and it started with my orthopedic surgeon. I was in some automobile accidents at the age of 16 and prescribed Vicodin and hydrocodone, Vicodin, and Somas. But I didn't think that something like a pill that was coming from my doctor could lead to the places that it took me. You know, when it starts off, it's fun. When you start off, you know, you gotta have fun some point in your life. You know, there are good times, but what I can tell you where it did lead me, it led me to be homeless, to having no family, no trust, just empty. You know, it was always, no matter what, like whether I was in high school and I had all the friends, had the car, you know, captain of the sports team, did well in school, and every single night when I come home at 2 in the morning, sitting on AOL Instant Messenger, not too many people remember that, but I remember just feeling so empty and so lonely. And it's something that, you know, I call it a God-shaped hole. You know, it's trying to fit things, square peg into a round hole. Like I kept feeding this God-shaped hole with drugs, with women, with everything, clothes, money, everything, and it just never got filled, and it left me feeling so lonely and so empty inside. And it wasn't until, you know, I came to believe in God that my life came together, you know, and I started to see hope. You know, if it weren't for 15th, 20th, and 25th chances, I wouldn't be sitting here today. You know, I've died, I've been to jail, I've had liver failure, kidney failure, been told I had 3 days to live. I've been through everything. And so yeah, you know, it took me, like I'm the type of person that, you know, I got addictive personality. Like, you know, you can sit there and tell me that the stove is hot and I could touch it and burn my hand. But then this next time, the stove's hot and I see that it's hot, but somehow maybe this way it's not gonna burn my hand. You know, so my hands are very, very chapped these days.
Take my hand through the flame. I torture you. I'm a slave to your game.
You know, and it took it's, you know, I'm a very hard learner, and I'm somebody that has to go through it. Somebody can't just tell me the stove is hot. Like, I have to see that the stove is hot and prove to myself that it's hot that many times. You know, so relapse is not a requirement, but it happens, you know, and that's just nobody's perfect. You know, there is no one right way to do this. You gotta make mistakes every single day. That's something I like to talk about because there's a myth, there's a stigma, you know, there's a stigma of what a drug addict or alcoholic looks like. There's also the stigma that I hate. It's called hitting rock bottom. You know, and people, when they hear the word rock bottom, it fools people into thinking that you have to lose your house, you have to lose your kids, you have to be incarcerated, something catastrophic has to happen. So for me, recovery starts whenever I say that I'm in recovery. So whenever I choose to stop digging is when I hit my bottom. The way that Mickey was living life wasn't working, so I had to realize that I was king shit at Turd Mountain. You know, like I didn't know how to do it. You know, my way didn't work. My way got me arrested. My way got me OD'd. My way got me in jail. My way got me homeless. So I had to I had to become teachable. You know, I had to swallow that false pride. And that's a huge pill to swallow. You know, I don't look at it like a defeating thing. I look at it like, hey, I'm going to start fighting for the winning team. You know, my way wasn't working, so why fight for a team that's losing? Why not fight for a team that's winning? So I'm going to try it a different way. The last time I went to my clean date's November 11, 2014. When I got the treatment, I didn't want to be there. Every single day, the first 2 weeks, I was there. I did not want to be there, and I made it known like every single day. And like I even had roommates that would move rooms for me because like I was so negative. Like I'm like, I didn't even unpack my bags for the first 35 days that I was there because I didn't know if I was coming or going. But something that I ended up learning is that there's things that you want to do and there's things that you need to do. You know, it's like move a muscle, change a thought. Like if your feet are moving and you go through the actions, the brain, the head will follow. So just sucking up my gut and my pride and just doing things that like I had, and that's what faith is doing, is believing in something that you can't possibly comprehend. So like believing that these people, that anybody, that their way was going to work and my way wasn't going to work. You know, that's what addiction is. Addiction is continued use despite negative consequences. There's something that I always say when I'm speaking to people, you know, meetings or anything like that. It's how do I describe the difference between like an alcoholic and a hard drinker or a social drinker or whatever. And here in town, there's US Highway 30 and there's Old 30. Old 30 is more like a county road, but they run parallel, and Highway 30 is the main 4-lane road. And I say, you know, my mom's driving on Highway 30 and she's been drinking. She gets pulled over and the cop says, "What are you going to do different next time? I'm arresting you for a DUI." She said, "Well, obviously she's not going to drink and drive." I'm driving down the same highway, same thing happens to me. The cop asks me what I'm going to do different next time. I'm going to take Old 30. So that's another thing, like, you know, I didn't get this the first time, you know. Yeah, and that's the thing, like the gifts, like just God's grace, like I'm living on borrowed time at this point in my life, you know, and they say a life beyond your wildest dreams. And, you know, when I first heard that, I didn't understand. I'm like, because I could dream of some pretty crazy shit. Like I could be living on a yacht, you know, with a helicopter, you know, getting fed, you know, shrimp through, you know, by girls in bikinis or whatever. That's not what it means. A life beyond my wildest dreams is having my family back in life, being able to show up, being able to be a son, being able to be a brother, being able to be I'm getting married in September. You know, that's like things that I never even would have thought were possible. Like there's a time in my life when my mom dropped me off in Fort Wayne with a duffel bag. She said, "There's a Salvation Army, there's a homeless shelter, figure it out. We're done. We love you, but we're done." And you know, like on my keys, you know, this is the key to my mom's house. She says, "Hey, can you watch your house while we're gone for a week? You know, we're going to Florida." They have a house in Florida. "Hey Mom, can I stay at the house in Florida when I'm down there next time?" "Sure." You know, that's a life beyond your wildest dreams. You know, just having that stuff that you just never would have conceived possible, you know. And now the job that I'm doing, you know, the position that I'm in, the people that I'm able to help and reach out, and, you know, I'm able to help in a positive way, where before I was just pillaging and, you know, destroying towns. Now I'm building communities up. There's no shame in being a recovering drug addict, because that means you're proactively doing things to better your life. Being a drug addict, that's not something that you want to shout from the hills, but being a recovering drug addict means that you put it down and you've chosen to live a better way of life. It's the best feeling. It's like a catch-22, really, because the success rate, this disease, is minimal. You know, like 1 out of every 10, 1 out of every 20, depending on where you go. They'll say, "Look at the 20 people in this room, only one of you is going to make it." Success rate is, you know, it works 100% of the time for people who put 25% of the effort into drinking and drugging that they used, because drinking and drugging is a full-time job, and like that takes a lot of skill, a lot of ambition, a lot of go-getting to do. If I put a quarter of the effort I did into that every single day, I'll be good for the rest of my life. Well, this year has been crazy. So many people that I personally know and I personally talk to every week, it's somebody that I personally know is dying, dropping dead, and it's all due to addiction. But you do have the success stories. You know, you do get that one who you helped get down the treatment, you know, and a year later, you know, their mom, you know, their family's like, thank you, you know, and that feels good to be able to give back, to be able to give somebody a life that they thought that they had lost.
Very grateful to be able to share his story with you. Mickey's a guy who's helping a lot of other people find their path to recovery. He's someone who's very passionate about reaching back into schools and the communities and telling people how dangerous this epidemic really is, but how realistic it is to find that path to recovery. A young groom, a new life. That's Mickey's story. We'll see you on the next episode of On the Road to Recovery. I'm Michael De Leon.